This day promises to be just a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly how different until I see how the paint is drying up from the day before. Is always the high point of my day. Now the last day I painted, I got some clear on the fender, some clear on the side fender pieces, and it looks like that's dried up like jewelry. I also got some white on the tank. I got that sprayed the last time I worked here. But then I noticed something that I wasn't happy with. That the rest of the parts weren't quite as white as the tank because I didn't have the final coat of white. Now what I did with this part has all the white on. It's white. It's like a good humor truck. These parts, when I put them side by side, were just a little gray. And I didn't want that for Steve's job. Then what I did, I took the seat for the FZR and I realized, same thing. It just needed that extra coat of white. So I got up real early today, got the coat of white on all of Steve's parts that were ready, got an extra coat of white on my part, and boy, it made a difference. I could see every spot that I hadn't put the third coat on. And sometimes I put a third coat on, but it's a thin coat or whatever happens. But now that I have all the white on, I am really glad I spent the extra time. So what I have to do here this morning, I have to bring all the parts. They've been sitting out in the garage overnight, bring them down into the cellar. We had Miles stay over last night, so I've got to rearrange the Lego room back into a paint room. And then, because it's really nice today, I decided to see if I can link up with anybody in the park, if anybody's going to ride today. I'm not sure they are, but it's supposed to go up in high 40s, low 50s. That'd be perfect to get a quick little ride in. And this time of year, anytime I can get a ride, I'm going to take it. So this is what I did this test for, that I really wanted to have. I really wanted to have one part totally done so I could see what this color was going to look like with clear, and if the stripes, white for the stripes, if the white stripes aren't white, the part really doesn't pop the way I want it to. That white striping is a critical part of the job. Ooh, that's going to look nice. Boy, you can see your reflection in it. Oy, that's going to be beautiful. Now just to show you what I'm talking about, you can see the difference in color if I stand back. Even though it's exactly the same paint, when this part has the whatever decaling we're going to put on it, whatever badging, well, now we get a little look at what the color is going to look like. Oh, I couldn't be happier with that color. Thank you, Dennis. Now all the parts with the clear, I'll get them up near the heating vent or just under it. Oh, that is a beautiful color. That is the color I remember as the Yamaha racing color of the 70s and 80s with the ladders. Steve has already sketched up or done some little, and of course he's a very artistic guy, some ideas of how he wants to lay out the paintwork. And here's the thing, if the white stripe is not white, and believe me, you don't think you'll notice it, you notice it right away. No matter what paint, and all of my paint jobs seem to wind up with a white stripe around it. If that white isn't white, but you lose the whole effect, and especially on ladders. If the white is gray, even the slightest bit. Now I've held the yellow is an absolute perfect match. I could probably repaint parts of this bike with that yellow. And that white, no matter how you lay out the paint, that white, believe me, is a critical part of the job. So like I said, with all this stuff drying out in the garage for a day, it's time to bring everything in. And the thing that's worked well for me is letting things dry overnight in a relatively cold garage. It's probably a little above freezing. And once I bring them in, they sit a day before I work on them again in the 65-degree cellar. If you have a paint job, and let's just say this paint job, if you took away the white striping and it just was yellow and black, it wouldn't pop at all. That white is such a critical thing. I've said that so many times. So on Steve's project, the next big thing, and we have extra white on all of these parts, they're all pretty nice. The next thing is going to be next week. Gonna have to spend a couple of days Got some real sand outs here, and get this part in white, and then we'll be ready for Steve to come over and lay out the paint job. Let me show the little concept drawing he sent this morning. Now this is what's nice about having a widescreen monitor for doing video editing. See, this is really nice, and boy, that serves me well when I'm editing video or doing these concept drawings. So this is really nice. You can see what I can do is lay this out on my video monitor. I've got this nice big screen that used to be a television, and by the way, you can convert these old TVs into monitors, but it's tricky as hell to do it. Anyway, by looking at this, a couple of things I realized, and I better mention it to Steve. I don't think Steve has brought over the fender. Well, maybe he has it, he just forgot to bring it over, but number one. Number two, this is his concept. The only thing I think that might be better is if you took this line where the Ninja is and put white in between there, but of course, all of this paintwork is in eye of the beholder, and Steve's a pretty talented guy when it comes to this. So he gets the final decision on everything. But that is a nice rendition, and he's already got the red and the black paint. So once I get the fairing finished up and in white, we'll be ready to do it. And this time of year we are really busy. 2 projects underway at the same time, and it's going to be good to get a little ride in this afternoon. It's supposed to be nice this afternoon. We're going to wait. We have about another hour of work to do around the house, and maybe we can get out of here for a couple hours. Now this is really working out to be a perfect situation. The bike's in need of a back tire. I have the back tire in stock, and by the time we're done with this ride, it'll be due for its 32,000 mile service, oil change, filter, all that stuff. So this will be the last ride before we have to do a day of maintenance, and we'll enjoy it. Look at the blue sky. Now I did not expect it to be anything like this. It's warmed up to where it's in the mid-40s already, and maybe even we'll go a little higher. I expect to see other bikes out on the road today. And just thinking about that white stripe, how important it was when I did this restoration. And keep in mind, this was a dumpster bike. When I did that restoration and laid out the paintwork, I was right where Steve is today, dreaming about the paint job, and I've been nothing but happy with it ever since.
can't make this up. I stopped the bike, and look what's on the ground. Wow. This is the one tool I need, believe it or not. That's a very valuable tool. We'll take it. Found on the road. Anyway, everywhere we go there's still residue snow, so finding that wrench made my day complete. And the lakes are just starting to freeze over. We got the beginning of the ice. Another week or so, they'll all be frozen and they'll be ice fishing out here. Well, there's just no substitute for sneaking in a ride, and when you think that you're not going to get a ride for weeks and weeks at a time, and you sneak one in. And boy, look at how those white stripes separate the paint. I can't wait to start laying out Steve's paint job next week. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and even when we sneak away for a ride. Thanks for watching. And boy, it was icy and cold up where we were. Those roads were slippery. And again, thanks for watching.